with the wet tile saw, if you run into a time where the blade starts to get loose, so unfortunately on these lower end tile saws, they do tend to get loose a little faster than the higher end ones, so you might have to tighten it. Make sure you unplug it. In this case you have to because the wrench is on there. But you actually have to get down inside, and you can see this here with the wrench. Put it on the nut here, and you'll actually have to either hold the blade, or you can get a screwdriver and jam it inside so that it doesn't spin, and then you'll be able to tighten it on. This also works if you need to change the blade, if you need a new blade put on there. So that's just the basics of changing blades. And if they do happen to get loose, and you'll know they'll get loose because it'll seem to bind all the time, or it'll have a bit of a wobble, that's never good. Make sure you stop, unplug it, and figure out what the problem is for anything. Anytime you run into something that just doesn't seem right, stop what you're doing and try and figure out what's wrong. Alright, so you're finished all your cutting, you're done. Now, I always talk about cleaning the tools every day. I don't always clean my cutting tile, or my wet tile saw every day. It doesn't necessarily need it. If I've done a lot of cuts and you find there's a lot of grunge in the bottom, then yeah, clean it out. But when you're done with it, make sure you completely clean it out before you put it away, or else that stuff will harden it down there. And you always want clean tools. Clean tools work better, they last longer, it's just a better way to do things. So here you have your cutting saw, and it's all mucky, so what do? How do you clean it off? Well, you can use a rag and some water and wipe it off. But one of the tools I love to use is something like a scrub brush. Saying that I was talking about before, just some cheapo scrub brush, and you want to just get some water on there. It's a little easier if you don't have to show a camera, but just get it on there and just gets into the grooves like that. So you just go along and do that, and then you'll just wash it all away. Now the real tricky part is when you get into, let me just flip this around for you, when you get into the bottom. Once you've dumped all the water out, you still have this massive amount of mud down here, and that's the clay that's left over from the tile. So what you do is you take your 6-in-1 tool, and first of all you want to scrape it all out. Hopefully this is coming out okay. You see the idea is the same. Just get it all scraped out, do that all over the whole thing. Now once you've done that, how's that? Once you've scraped it all out, you wash it away, there'll be spots that you can't get at with the 6-in-1 tool, so you'll want to get your scrub brush, wet it down, put some water inside, and scrub away in there. So between those two tools, you can get pretty much anything clean anywhere, and it's really, between the two of them works really well. So make sure you keep your tools clean.